I am Whitney Mendoza, managing partner of Liger Partners, and this morning I am joined by Jessica Cook. I almost knocked over my coffee. That would not have been a good start to the morning. Jessica Cook, she's founder of Conexas Consulting, and I want to start off with the name because I was like, I wrote it down, and then you were like, Whitney, it's simple. It's connect us, connects us. So tell us about the name and tell us about what you do, Jessica.
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. Super excited to be on today. Conexas Consulting actually came from a survey I took a long time ago. It was probably 5-6 years ago. We were at work and doing this leadership summit, and they said, we're going to take this survey called, I think it was Marcus Buckingham. It was like the standout or something like that, I think. And it was, you took the survey and it was like, what are your top qualities? Are you a pioneer? Are you an inventor? Are you a connector?
Nice.
Are you a creator? And we went through this whole survey and I was like, okay, great. I'm a creator and I'm a connector. What does that mean?
Right.
Sure. Okay. I guess these are my natural talents, but what does it mean? And so when I decided to leave corporate America, we'll say, and go out on my own, I was thinking, well, what's going to be the name of my consulting business? And that moment just came back to me. And I said, okay, I really do love to connect people, either to connect people to each other or to solutions that solve challenges. And part of that process is a very creative process at the same time. So I was on the treadmill and I can remember just Googling things. I was like, okay, Cook, connecting, consulting, 3C, no, taken.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, this, nope, that doesn't work together. Taken. And then I was like, how about Conexas? I want to connect my clients with solutions that solve challenges for them or connect people to other people that can help them grow their business. So Conexas was born, AS instead of US because that was taken. Conexas Consulting was born.
I love it.
On a treadmill.
Yeah.
In a warehouse, in an industrial building.
That was funny because just before the show, we were sharing that Isaac and I came up with our first name. We were in Starbucks, which I think is where we also were when we filed our LLC. And then there was another kind of idea formation where I felt like I was laying on the floor and someone was in a chair. And we were, same thing where we were like, you're in media, mics, video camera, like we're throwing out all these words. And then everything we wanted was taken too. And so we started looking at different languages, and that's how we came up with ours.
Yes.
Awesome.
I think there is something close to mine in Spanish, but not exact. And I do have the URL, so I was like, okay, I snap it up before somebody else gets it.
I love that.
Yeah.
So walk us through to what you and I were talking about kind of the process of you leaving corporate, and you spent some time in Australia, and then we kind of got like coronavirus going on. So walk us through
Nothing
that.
like starting a new business in the middle of a pandemic. So towards the end of last year, I had been with my company for about 9 years in the workforce solutions and technology space. And when I graduated, originally I graduated from Kennesaw. I think you and I have that in common. Was it me and you? Did you go to Kennesaw?
I did not. I did graduate from the area. I went to Burnell.
Okay, Burnell.
Which is Gainesville. So I mean, they're pretty
close, right?
Yeah,
pretty close.
Yeah.
So the worst time of the economy, we were in an economic recession at that time. So I moved back to Griffin, Georgia, a little tiny town south of the city. And I said, okay, well, this is where I'm meant to be right now. And so I went to work for a workforce solutions company, front desk. You can answer the phones, Jessica. I was like, what? I have a college degree. You want me to answer the phone?
Right.
My dad was like, take the job. I was like, but I'm supposed to be international business. I'm supposed to be traveling the world and doing economic development in Latin American countries. And this is my thing. This is what I'm meant to do. He said, no, what you're meant to do is take the job. Stop waiting tables and take the job.
Right.
So I said, okay, I took it. So they offered me. They said, well, you can start working on the front desk for us. I was like, well, okay, that's great. I have a college degree, but okay, sure. So I did it for a while and then, just started gradually growing from there. I'm like, I can do more. And they were like, okay, well, take on this project. I was like, let me form a technology department for y'all. They were like, okay, do that. So I did that, and my boss, my CEO, came to me, and he said, you're kind of good at this technology stuff. And I was like, well, great, because I'm kind of bored out of my mind.
Right.
I was like, what am I going to do next? And he was like, well, let me tell you about a vendor management software that I want to build. So gradually, I started helping him with that, and then it just took off. And so what I found as I was going through those different positions is the thing that I enjoyed most was helping our clients overcome a challenge. solve a problem, overcome a challenge. And that could look like many different things in the workforce solutions side of the business. So I was like, okay, this is where I thrive. This is what I love to do. This is what brings me joy. This is what I became passionate about. So then over the next 9 years, that's just kind of what I focused on doing for the organization. When you're building a company, as you know, because you've done it, there's a lot of different phases of that, from product development to finding the right team members to make sure you're, allocating your resources properly, all of that. And so after 9 years, I said, okay, I feel like I've kind of achieved what I've set out to achieve, and I'm ready to take on more. But in order to take on more, I kind of had to expand and for my own business in order to do that. So I went to Australia at the end of Christmas, at the end of the year, took kind of a month break and said, let me just refocus, retool, think about it. What exactly do I want my business to be? What do I want to help companies with? And during that time, I got the opportunity to meet with Metigy, and they were, digital marketing company for small businesses. I had the struggles for what their product would accomplish. And I said, wow, this is amazing. How much of your business is in the United States? And they were like, about 20%. And I said, it gives me chill bumps to think about it. I was like, I want to help y'all expand this in the United States because there's a huge need for this product for small businesses. I felt it. I've lived it. I've seen other people live it. And I was like, I really want to help y'all with that too. So then they became a client. So start the year off strong. I have, several clients now, and what I'm really focused is helping them grow and expand. And the greatest part about that is that at the end of the day, their clients benefit from everything that we do as well. So
I love that.
Yep. So that's a little bit of my story.
No, and it's when I was listening to you tell that, I almost thought of like Tony Braxton, which follow me.
Tony Braxton.
Follow me here.
Okay, I'm a Tony Braxton fan, so I'm listening.
The story of her getting discovered is she was singing at a gas station, and one of the it was Tony Braxton. I'm pretty certain.
We're
gonna
up.
Google this. I think it was Tony Braxton. Anyway, she's singing at the gas station, and it just so happens that a producer pulls up and hears her singing, and Booms hires her, and she becomes this multi-platinum, whatever singing star, right?
Uh-huh.
But it almost sounds like that. Like you were like, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to go out of the country. I'm going to go to Australia. And then you met with this company, and you had all these ideas, and they were like, come work for us. But it's all the work on the back end that led up to that to bring you to the point of this is what I meant to do. It all came back to connecting others and solving their problems.
It really did. And I always say it gives me chills. I'm a spiritual person, and I don't believe that anything just happens by accident.
Yeah, agreed.
I went to school for international business and graduated in the worst time of the economy. I didn't think I would ever get to do anything in that realm. And then even with my former company, I'm so grateful, so grateful for all the opportunities my CEO gave me there, because he gave me his vision and he said, you run with it. And if you can't figure it out, you make it happen. And Richard Branson's one of my I wish he was my mentor. Richard Branson, if you're listening, I want you to be my mentor. But he is one of the people that I do follow, and I admire his business savvy and sense and just growth and everything. He's amazing. But he has this saying, he has this quote, and I'm probably not going to quote it exactly right, but it's basically saying, like, if you can't figure it out, just say, yeah, I'll figure it out, and then figure it out.
Right.
Don't just pass on an opportunity. And so my previous CEO really gave me those abilities, right? He said, here's my vision. This is what I want to accomplish. You don't have any experience in this field, but I trust that you're going to learn how to do it. Take it and run with it, you know? And so I didn't mention part of my story when I was, so I decided at the end of the year I wanted to do this. He was on board. He was like, I'd love to still be a client, for you to still represent our products. You know them in and out. And I was like, absolutely, because I believe in this company. I'm just ready to do more, to take on more. And so when I was in Australia, I remember it was my birthday. My birthday was on January 6th, and I got a call from my sister. My mother had been really sick, and she had been fighting what we didn't know at the time was cancer.
Wow.
And so I said, okay, this is a lot to swallow. I'm like 2 weeks into this trip. We have 2 weeks to go. But, I'm just going to take it one day at a time, and we'll see what happens when I get back. Well, when I got back, she was there. She was on life support. I mean, it was really bad,
Wow.
Whitney. It was really, really bad. So that was a struggle that we had with her for the next, let's see, we found out in January. She passed in March.
Wow.
And I said, okay. I said, I needed this time. I needed that time with her in order to be able to kind of, to help my sister, to help her, to be there to support her. And, had I still been in my former position, that would have been very difficult. Of course, my company would have been understanding, but that would have been very difficult on me emotionally and stuff. So I say all that to say nothing happens by accident, and we kind of, we can carve our own path. And more than anything, what I'm excited for now is all of these years and all of this knowledge that I've gained, I get to share it with people and I get to help them overcome their challenges. And do I have all the answers? No, absolutely not. But if I don't have the answer, I know someone who knows the answer that I can connect you with. And so it's really, I'm excited for this new phase.
I love it.
This new journey.
So tell us about moving this forward and growing during quarantine. Were you like working out of your closet on the kitchen table? What was happening?
So I think I bought a desk online because you should have seen my desk. It was about as big as this table. I was like, well, that's not going to be quite big enough. So I remember I was like, okay, well, I need a laptop. It's things that you don't even think about. I'm like, okay, all of my stuff, all of my equipment was from my company, right? So I was like, okay, I need a laptop. I need a business name. I need this, that. So you just start putting all this stuff together. And I was like, then COVID hit. So I had just spent all this time with my mother.
Right.
Then COVID hit. And I was like, what am I going to do now? Because I was just then in, when was it, April? I guess April is when they really started shutting Georgia down. So I spent February, March, my mother, done that. In April, I was like, okay, business is going to take off. And I remember the announcement, well, you can't go out of your house. And I was like, what do you mean I can't go out of my house? This is what I need to do. I need to connect with people. I am selling. And so that changed from face-to-face, obviously, to bunches and bunches of Zoom meetings and networking. And
I believe that's what we did. I think we Zoomed.
We did. Because
Isaac in the middle of it.
Isaac did one, because I was posting online, like on LinkedIn. Because, everyone should have taken to social channels. I mean, that's the way that you could have stayed in front of your audience.
Right, exactly.
So I started posting on LinkedIn, and I said, I was talking about workforce challenges. And I was like, if you're, don't lay off your employees, like contact me. I want to help you with this. Like there's other strategies out there of things you can do. And actually one of your other clients saw it, said, I want you to come on the podcast with us. So then we did the one podcast with Greg.
Yes.
And then that was a group podcast. And then he and I did a one-on-one. And that's kind of just how everything started connecting, and that's how I met you. And so then it went from there. So I feel it's a blessing in disguise because when you start a business, you got to do everything you can to capitalize upon your time. And the fact that I was still located in Griffin was a challenge because driving north to where business is at least an hour drive. So I was like, this was great for my business, get out there, get on social media channels. I cannot express the importance of that. People always cut their marketing budget during a time of crisis. And that is the worst time that you should cut your marketing budget because
Can you say that one more time?
No, I am dead serious on this. Like this point is so true. And there are creative ways to get out there, to get your name out there, expand your brand, everything that you're doing. But it's like, don't cut your marketing budget. Stay on your social channels. Get out there. Express your message. Because during a time of a crisis, people want to know how your company is responding to that. That's your brand. That's your message. That's who you are. What are you doing? What are you giving back? How are you helping your clients, etc.? And so that's what I did. I said, I'm staying on LinkedIn. I'm going to post a couple of articles a week, that actually add value to people and can help people think through different strategies during the time. Because when you hear there's a global pandemic, panic, right? Panic sets in. So you have to say, okay, don't panic. Yes, this is a problem. This is a big global crisis. But there are things that we can do each day in our business to help keeping it pushed forward. And had I not done that, I wouldn't be sitting right here. Had I just went and hid in a closet or stayed off social media or whatever it is, then I wouldn't be here today getting the opportunity to tell the world about my company that's just 3 months old. Like, this is such an opportunity, but it's because I put myself out there, and I think that's important.
I love it. So did you drive from Griffin today?
No, I didn't. I was in Atlanta.
I was like, what? You are the first guest that I've had in studio since quarantine.
Really? Well,
Air high five.
Air high five.
I love it.
Thank you for not making me wear my mask and talking. That would be so hot.
No. I respect to first responders that have to wear those all the time.
I know.
All the time. But yeah, looking at the silver lining, something that I loved were all these businesses and we as people came together, right? Like we would always go out and eat on Friday night. That's kind of like our treat. And we didn't stop that. We did not. We were like, we're going to support business. We would be doing this anyway. So Friday night's still going to be our eat out night. I mean, and people were buying things when they could to support small businesses. I mean, everyone just really rallied together.
I think so too. We did, what was it? My boyfriend and I did Takeout Tuesday.
Nice.
That was our thing. We were like, okay, we'll support, because you want to try to cook at home as much as you can, right? But when you go to the grocery store, and I took a picture the first time I went to the grocery store, I was like, oh my gosh, there's no meat. I was like, okay, tonight's vegetarian night because there's literally no chicken, no beef, no pork, no anything. So, but we did start trying to do that, like support small businesses through Uber Eats, like once a week, and some little things like that here and there. Our local place down the street that we really would want to support and stay in business. And of course, if you can, people were giving, I think, what they can. When you see something like this happen, the humanity in people really does come out.
It does.
Sometimes it's not always so positive, depending, but it does. I feel that people were open to helping others more than ever. And when people would say to me, I'm ready for things to get back to normal, and I was like, well, I'm not really.
Right.
I don't think we should go backwards. I don't think that should ever be what we do in life, is just go backwards.
Right.
It's about moving forward
exactly.
now. Learning from our mistakes. What do we do? I mean, they were saying that for the first time in years, the skies are clear in China.
Yep.
For the first time in years, in Venice, you can actually see the fish in the water.
Yes.
And I've been to Venice before, and I'm telling you, you could not see any fish in the water. It was just so dirty and so polluted and so stinky, really.
Right.
And it's such a beautiful country. And so you're like, or city in a beautiful country. So I'm like, this is actually good. Let's keep doing these things to help our planet, to help one another, to help our help our neighbor, right? So I think it's good.
So I do want to touch really quickly, because Liger does marketing.
Yes.
So I want to talk a little bit about Metigy, which is how we originally got connected. Yes. And they are a client of yours, and you were telling me some super cool stuff that's developing and happening. So give us a little bit of an overview of the platform and what all it does for marketers.
Absolutely. I am so excited about this platform because, as I told you before, when I was running a business, this was one of my jobs.
Yeah.
What are we going to do for sales? What are we going to do for marketing? And there's a lot of tools out there that will say do the job, so to speak, right? So there's process-oriented tools like your HubSpot and your Salesforce and your CRM. You need those. You need your website. You need your blog. But that's not all you need. Your presence on social media is the most important thing now, especially when everyone's on their phone, everyone's mobile. I mean, constantly plugged in 24/7. If you're not on social media, you're missing a huge opportunity.
And that's such a key point, because you named all those things that you need initially. If you're not putting that stuff out there, it's like it doesn't exist. It's kind of like the running joke of Facebook. Well, if it's not on Facebook, it doesn't exist. Kind of, yeah. Kind of true.
It didn't happen. You know why it didn't happen? Because nobody saw that it happened.
Right.
And that's the world that we live in, and that's not changing.
Right.
That's not going anywhere.
Right.
If anything, it's going to only increase from here.
Exactly.
Google has a virtual assistant now. You know, it's like technology's not going anywhere. It only goes up from here. There will be robotics, and there's robotics already in manufacturing. And
just putting that out there. I love Alexa.
Oh, I do too. I love her. I asked when she's not working, I'm like, what's happening? I don't know what the temperature is outside.
That's when the Star Wars jokes come out. Yeah, that's my favorite. Sorry, I derailed that. Continue.
No,
Metigy.
That's okay. So David, who's the CEO of Metigy, he was a managing partner for We Are Social for years and years and years.
Okay, yes.
They're one of the largest social agencies in the world. So during his time, he said, just what I said. There's a lot of tools out there on the market, but most of them are built for professional marketers like you, Whitney, that know how to use the tools, that have the strategy to take the tool and implement the strategy, right? But for the small business owner, they don't know where to start.
Right.
And I've worked with a lot of them, from restaurants to tire shops to, franchises. And, how does the Firehouse Subs compete with the Subway in the same town? How do they differentiate? Why does one go to one versus the other? They all have these challenges. But unless they're going to, have someone on their team who is a professional marketer, which most of them can't do because they cannot afford, then they're stuck. So what do? So David set out to develop the software. And the big key is the recommendation engine and using artificial intelligence to help. The computer helps us know what to look for, what to look at, what are the trends. And just, technology in general, that's the purpose of it, of course. And so he said, okay, I'm going to build this solution for small businesses, not just to give them another tool, but this tool, I really wanted to teach them how to market. So when you go through and you're setting up the platform, the system's giving you recommendations. Hey, Whitney, did you know that this post that you made is getting a lot of attention? If you spend just $20 on it and you boost this post, then you're going to get much bigger audience. You should do that. How would I know that?
Right.
If I didn't have the tool telling me what I needed to do.
Right.
So you set your goals and objectives for your business, and then the tool is going to help you make decisions around what you need to do in order to achieve those goals. So I'm very excited about it. And I always say, I kind of hate to say it like this, but it's just the truth. It's a one-stop shop. It's a one-stop shop for marketing. Everything you need right in one place to manage your social presence. And we have small businesses using it. We have marketing agencies using it for their clients, just because operationally it makes your back office so much easier.
Right.
We have co-working companies that are using it. We're talking to MLM companies. I mean, there's just such an application for it in so many different industries. Anyone can really benefit.
Yeah,
I'm using it for one of the business I'm a managing partner in. I'll use it for Conexas as soon as I get a breather. I can set it all up.
Right.
Yeah, because it's that effective. And at $25 a month, I always tell people, you spend more than that on lunch.
Right.
You spend more than that on Starbucks a month. Like, invest in your business.
Exactly.
Because you have to stay in front of your audience in such a competitive market.
Yeah. When you made another great point too of working smarter, not harder, right? Yes. A lot of kind of a speed bump or kink in the rope, if you will, is when you're doing social media or sharing a blog or like awards, like companies that win an award and they talk about it once and they never speak of it again. I'm like, no, you have to talk about that all the time. Maybe I wasn't up at 9 a.m. on Facebook the moment that you shared that. You have to share it again. And to your point, the Metigy brings back up and says, this post is doing really well. Boost it for this, but also share it again.
Yes.
It's okay. If you shared it at 3 p.m., share it in the morning and vice versa. Catch who didn't see it the first time.
You know what? And it's so important that you bring that up, because I forgot to mention this, and it's a huge part of the system. It'll actually recommend it's called Best Time AI.
Love it.
And it'll say, this is based upon all the information we're gathering about your audience. This is the time in which they're most active. So these are the days and times of the week that you should be posting. How in the world would we know that? I mean, this is what technology does for us. And I can geek out all day long on technology because I believe in the power of using it. Not to replace the human element of it, but to complement it in a way that both work in harmony together.
Right.
Yeah,
I love that. Awesome.
I love it.
So Jessica Cook, founder, Conexas Consulting. If someone wants to get in touch with you or maybe learn some more about Metigy or other systems, solutions,
absolutely.
How do they reach you?
They can email me, Jessica at Conexas. I'll spell it Conexas, ConexasConsulting.com. And I do, I really want to help small businesses and small to medium-sized businesses. And I don't charge a consultation fee. It's like, let's have a conversation. Sometimes when people see consultant, they're like, oh, that's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
I can't afford
per
that.
minute.
Yeah.
Rate.
Like, oh gosh, like it's not like an attorney. It's not like anything like that. It's let's talk. Let's have a conversation. What are your challenges? And let's see how I can help you overcome them.
Awesome.
And if I don't have a solution in my pocket, that would be surprising, but if I don't have one, I'll find you one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me. This has been so fun. I'm glad. First one back in the studio.
I know.
So.
Party back
Party
in
time,
person.
party time.
I love
Okay.
it. Awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Thank you for joining us online, and we'll see you next time.